Good evening, everyone. My name is Jen Barangan, and I will be your host for tonight. And how have you been, guys? We hope that you're all well and safe. And welcome to the general membership meeting of the Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines. This is also the first GMM in the year 2021, and we've really come a long way since we started these virtual GMMs. And we couldn't be happier to be here for our aspiring creators, influencers, brands, agencies, and of course, our partners. Now, I know some of you here are new and you probably don't know what a CICP is all about. So, CICP is a Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines, and this was established last year. And it is an organization of creators, influencers, and marketing professionals that aim to elevate the country's influencer marketing ecosystem. These monthly GMMs are our way of reaching out to our members and future members. So if you're interested in joining, just check out cicp.com.ph. And also, I would like to say hi to all of our viewers tonight who are tuned in right now. So let us know where you are watching right now, guys, because I'm really interested where you're watching. So please do leave a comment in the comment section below. And the past year, our ability to adapt to change was really tested as for the influencer marketing industry and advertising industry in general. We were challenged on how to stay relevant in the eyes of our audience, which brings us up to the question like, how is content creation in the now normal like, or how content creation has pivoted because of the pandemic? Now, if you have the same thought, please do stay tuned. And before I will introduce you guys our guest of honor for tonight, we just want to say that he will be answering some live questions later on. So feel free to post your questions in the comment section below. So let's begin. Our keynote speaker for tonight is the managing partner of the Philippines' most effective ad agency, Creative Agency of the Year, and Independent Agency of the Year, and that is Gigil. So please help me welcome Mr. Jake Erestorza of Gigil.
Hey guys.
Hi, Sir Jake.
Hi Jen. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. How are you doing? I'm good. I'm good. And now, are you excited for tonight's talk?
Oh yeah, I am. I'm hoping people will get to learn from some of the stuff that I've prepared, and I hope to learn as well from the rest of the people in the audience. So yeah, pretty excited.
For sure, we'll get to learn a lot of things during your talk, and I don't want to hold your excitement, so please take it away, Sir Jake.
Cool. All right. Hi. Good evening, everybody. So let's start off. I was asked to speak about what we at Gigil, our agency, what we've been doing over the course of the pandemic, how we've been trying to adjust and stuff. So I'll be sharing with you a few things that we've come up, but some of these things are also applicable even without a pandemic, right? So thinking about it, one of the main things that we at Gigil try to do is we really try to be different and unconventional, because we believe that it's only by being different and unconventional will we be noticed. Because one of the things I always tell our clients is that when you've got a brand and the whole competitive universe is not just against the other brands. So say you're handling a shampoo brand, you're not just competing against other shampoo brands. You're competing against all the other content online. Actually, in effect, we're also competing against all of you guys, all the popular influencers and content creators, because you also get a lot of attention from the people. So there's a lot of that out there. So one of the things that we try to do, we really try to be brave and conventional and even crazy. Which and when I say crazy, it's not just crazy like crazy in a funny way, but we're also that. You can also be actually crazy in a sentimental way, in an emotional way. And I'm reminded by one of the things a former boss of mine shared with me before. Every time we'd see a really crazy idea, this is one thing that he'd say. He'd say, "Oh, it's so crazy, it just might work." But in this case, what we do at our agency at Gigil is, we try to come up with the crazy ideas so they get noticed by people, by consumers. But we make sure that they're crazy, not just for craziness sake, if there's such a phrase, but we're crazy with results. So what we're trying to say here is it's madness with mad results, meaning they really move the needle for the brand. But I think I'm getting ahead of my story here. You're probably wondering who I am, who Gigil is, and stuff. So I'll do a quick introduction of who the agency is. So our name's Gigil, passion, and extreme fondness for someone or something. In this case, extreme fondness for ideas. There are three partners at the agency. On this slide, you see the first one on the slide is Badong. Before helping set up Gigil, he used to be the chief creative officer of Y&R. And prior to that, he was with several other agencies like Livernet, TBWA, McCann. And over the course of his career, he's a multi-awarded creative individual. In 2010, he was actually inducted into the Hall of Fame. So we've got a Hall of Famer in the house. As for me, I started off at Livernet. I handled an FMCG brand, Lucky Me. It went on to become the #1 instant noodle brand in the country. And then while I was there, J. Walter Thompson called me to handle Ford, Shell, and Red Horse. It was during my time working on Red Horse that we helped bring the brand to the #1 position it is in right now, because at that time, it was San Miguel Pale Pilsen that lorded it over the beer industry. And then from there, Livernet called me again to head the biggest team, the Marlboro team. And for several years, we made sure that the brand would remain #1. And then about 3-4 years ago, I joined Shale as the COO, where we worked on Samsung mobile phones and appliances. Until about a couple of years ago, I joined Gigil as managing partner. Our third partner is Herbert. Herbert has worked with both Badong and myself in our previous agencies. With me, he was my creative partner on Ford and Red Horse. With Badong, they've worked on a lot of multi-awarded and very successful campaigns. Also, Herbert has judged at the New York Advertising Festivals. He's been named among the 40 under 40 by Campaign. It's a website and magazine based out of Hong Kong. And they honor young achievers on a yearly basis. And also, Herbert quite leads the dual life. During the days with us doing advertising, digital marketing work. In the evening, he's a member of two of the more popular bands around, Moonstar 88 and Six Cycle Mind. And over the past couple of years, we've won some of these awards, local and international awards. And then last year, we won 2 big awards from Campaign, Creative Agency of the Year and Independent Agency of the Year. Usually those awards aren't given out to one agency in the same year, but we were fortunate to have won last year. We also won a gold for our partnership with 7-Eleven, and we won a couple of awards for our partnership with Orocan and our talent development program. But the one thing we're really proud of is the Effie Awards, because it's an award-giving body that recognizes work that's not just creative for creativity's sake, but really moves the needle for the brand. So they look at the hard numbers, brand health scores, volume increments. Those are the things that they look into. And we were fortunate to have won a gold at the Effie Awards for a campaign we did for Levi's, the case study of which I'll share with you in a bit. We also were ranked among the top 3 independent agencies of the year last year, technically making us the most effective agency in the Philippines last year. Now, so enough of us. Let's go back to the topic at hand. So what I'll do tonight is I'll share with you 4 things. So basically what I'll do is I'll introduce a case study. And then after the case study, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about the results a bit. And we'll also talk about the learning that we've picked up working on the project. So first case study is for a campaign we ran for Consulta MD a couple of years ago. Consulta MD was probably, you'd say, ahead of its time. It was and still is a telemedicine facility. So you know how it works. You pick up the phone if you subscribe to it, and you talk to a real doctor. That this was done. This was present even before the pandemic. So we created this campaign, but it was hinged on the insight that the truth is when you're sick, you don't necessarily go to the doctor for a variety of reasons. It's either because you're too tired to go to the doctor, you're too busy, it's too expensive, the traffic's bad. So you come up with all these different excuses. And you know what you do? Try it. What you normally do is you Google it up. And when you Google up a symptom or an illness, it usually comes back with really crazy results. So it was based on this insight that we developed this campaign.
Doc Internet. How can I help you?
Bakit ang dami kong pimples sa likod?
May ketong ka.
Hay fever, cough, and colds.
Apply Vapor Rub all over your body.
Nabulat yung ngipin ko. Gingivitis.
Why do I stutter?
Di ka breastfed.
Bakit ko yung ihi ko color yellow? You have gonorrhea. Uminom ng buko juice with 2 tablespoons of powdered detergent.
Sakit ang bato ko.
Mataas ang cholesterol mo.
Sore throat.
Throat cancer.
Doon mo kaya nga.
Lung cancer. Elbow cancer.
Kritis ako, sumusuka.
Di bali na sumuka. Huwag lang sumuko. Joke lang. Cancer.
Headache.
Cancer. Chest pain. Cancer.
Stomach pain. Weight loss. Hair loss. Difficulty in breathing.
Kailan pa nagsimula itong mga symptoms na to?
Hindi ko na maalala, Dok.
Amnesia.
So really great results out of that campaign. 31,000 shares, 2 million views, 6.5 thousand comments, all in a boosting budget of 21,000. Not a boosting budget that we normally recommend, but yeah, it happened. And it moved member acquisition up by about 54%. So very successful campaign. And really, the learning there, pandemic or not, is that insight is still king. So as you've probably seen in this case study, we latched on a very powerful insight about people not going to the doctor, not wanting to go to the doctor for whatever reason, and Googling it up. So using that insight and behavior, we created that particular campaign. So that's the first case study that I want to share with you. The second one is for Orocan. So we did this campaign now. So the previous case study was done before the pandemic. This one was done right in the middle of the pandemic. We were, I don't know, a month or two into the pandemic. Everybody was just locked up at home. We were frustrated. People were frustrated, anxious. We didn't know where to go, what to do. And there was no entertainment available around, or there was very little entertainment available around. So we at the agency, we started trying to come up with plans for our different brands. And this is one of the plans that we came up with. We said, okay, what do Filipinos like when they're at home or anywhere for that matter? And the one thing that we said was that Filipinos love singing, all right? Filipinos love singing, especially they love singing in the bathroom. And coincidentally, that's exactly where you'd find a lot of Orocan products in the bathroom. So we created this campaign. It's, right now you see KGT, but that's we created this contest actually. It's called Kubeta Got Talent, and this is the case study that came out of that campaign.
Naisipan natin at ng Orocan maka-come up ng isang show na pampaaliw naman, pampasaya para sa ating mga taong bahay.
Orocan! Kubeta Got Talent!
Lang dito
Oh, mundo!
na wala
Naglalatay sa gitna ng
Kinalimutan kahit nahihirapan Mahalibang makausap na
Whenever you're ready, i-flash mo na ako, beta mo. Sing!
Shout out sa mga frontliners. So sana naaling sa hospital. Underscore kasi ako.
Whenever I see girls and boys. Yun, maraming salamat contestant. Yan kay number 1, number 2, and number 4. And congratulations po sa ating lahat.
And I want to thank Orocan dahil po sa ganitong patimpalak nila, dahil lahat po ng mga bagot ngayon ay entertain dahil po sa amin. And syempre po sa organizers, ayan, thank you so much po.
So that was the Orocan Cubeta Got Talent. And the lesson really here is, we always say get out of the box. Don't, I guess the lesson here is don't just get out of the box. Use the box. In this case, the box was our home, and we were confined. We couldn't get out, but we used that. We used that box. We tweaked it around and used that to our advantage in this particular case study, and we made it work for us. The campaign or the contest ran for just 1 week, but it, if you do the math, that translated to about 5 weeks, 5 months worth of viewership. So really great campaign for Orocan Cubeta Got Talent there. But about 3 more case studies that I want to share with you. And this one is for RC Cola. You may have seen it, you may have not, but I'll share it nonetheless. So these are 2 videos. These are 2 films that I want to share with you. The brief here by the client was pretty simple, but pretty challenging as well. So they told us that before all the past few years, the major competitive advantage of RC was that it was cheap. It was inexpensive. People would buy it because they could afford it. But then the sugar tax came around and it leveled off the playing field for everybody. So this time, RC already would cost in the same way that the other soft drink brands would cost. So what they did is that they came to us and they said, we can't just rely on price anymore. We need to be differentiated. So we said, which target market do you want to talk to? And they were pretty specific after a series of discussions with us that we'd want to talk to the Gen Z market. And we did some research. We talked to a lot of people in the Gen Z audience. And one of the things that came up was that the Gen Z audience, they're very opinionated about a lot of things, about climate control, about the world, about political correctness, about racism and stuff. They say a lot of things about those, but when it comes to the small mundane things like why do you prefer that kind of food or dish over the other one? Why do you prefer this drink over that? Why do you prefer a band over the other band? And they normally say, I don't know, basta. Loosely translated, it means whatever. And we were saying, actually, while that sounded dismissive, basta, we said that was a very powerful line. Then that's actually the insight behind this campaign for RC Cola, that the audience just doesn't want to over-explain themselves. That's one. Number two, one of the things that we're very sure of is that they were very much into humor. So other brands tried to get into music marketing, tried to get into quality or taste tests. We said let's try to get into something, into an area that nobody has gone into, which is humor. And being different and being a bit surreal. So these are the 2 films that we did. The first one is called Family.
Ma?
Oo?
Ampun po ba ako?
Ha? Sino naman nagsabi sa'yo niyan?
Kasi ma, lagi na akong inaasar sa school eh. Ampun daw ako ma eh.
Anak, di ba sinabi ko sa'yo huwag ka magpapa-apekto sa sinasabi ng iba?
Pero ma, sabihin mo sa akin ma, ampun po ba ako? Ha? Ma! Ampun ba ako? Ha? May paliwanag mo to ma. May paliwanag mo, bakit may 4 na baso ako sa likod?
Matagal na namin itinago ito sa'yo, anak. Pero sa palagay ko pa na pinagmalaman mo.
All right, that was the first film. The second film was this. It's called Band.
to see your face I
Okay ka lang?
I can't do this anymore. I quit.
Ha? Anong ibig mo sabihin? 5 taon na tayo magkakasama, oh.
Yeah, pero never ko naman naramdaman na I'm really part of the group. Different from you guys.
Ha?
You'll never understand.
Never understand what? Aya. We understand.
Right. So those were the two films for RC. Results were pretty great as well. 1.6 million organic views in just 6 hours after its launch. It's around 16 million now. Over 2.7 million views, 130,000 shares, 203,000 reactions in less than 24 hours. We got featured on different publications locally. We became the top. The campaign became the #1 trending topic in Twitter. It was also covered by international sites like Fast Company, Ad Age, and a couple of sites in Australia. And then just recently, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, this campaign was actually featured on Ellen DeGeneres' show. So pretty high traction for this campaign. And more importantly, not only were we talked about, or not only was the campaign talked about, it actually increased sales by around 67% after the launch of the campaign. So it became, a very interesting case study. It became a national phenomenon. It became cultural phenomenon, and even talked about outside. But also, and people started to buy it. More importantly, when before that, weeks before that, or months before that, people didn't know much about RZ. Now, pretty much everybody knows about it. So the lesson here that we've picked up is that, going back to the line "basta," lesson really here is that don't overthink it, because chances are the audience doesn't too. And if they do, well, they're thinking about you, and that's what we want to happen. We want people to talk about us, think about us. But when we try to develop concepts or campaigns, sometimes it's not that linear. It's not A leads to B, as in the case of the RC Cola campaign, especially with regard to the target audience that we've been wanting to talk to, the Gen Z. So very successful campaign for RC Cola. This last thing that I want to share with you is a campaign we ran for Levi's a couple of years ago. So at that time, Levi's had a few challenges. One of which was the fact that it wasn't as relevant anymore. People saw it as a Tito brand, and so they wanted to create a campaign during the Christmas season. Pretty simple. You walk into a Levi's shop, buy a pair of jeans, a denim jacket, and they'd customize it for you for free. They put beads, patchwork, whatever. That was called the tailor shop facility. So they said this was going to come out during the Christmas season. So we said we needed to make it a bit more emotional, a bit more heartwarming, a stark contrast from everything Levi's did before, which was very American, very Western, really cool. So this campaign, pretty cool as well, but it was cool in a different way, and I'll share it with you now.
Nak, may regalo ako sa'yo. Sukat mo.
Anywhere you go, andyan lagi si Pap.
Merry Christmas, anak.
Salamat po.
Bagay na bagay sa'yo.
So really good results from this campaign as well. 31.9 million views, 23.7 thousand comments. Really good brand health scores after the launch. Also, and sales, as you'll see in the next, here, delivered 72% more revenue versus the previous year. It won an award. It won this award among several others. And it moved sales by at least 16% overall nationwide versus the previous year. So I guess the lesson here is that, what we're trying to do is that people thought, for instance, in the case of Levi's, people thought we were going to come out with something again that was a bit American, Western, and everything, and cool. But we kept them guessing. It's the same, you're familiar with the phrase when people zag, when people zig, you zag. That's exactly what we tried to do here. Everything, on one hand, Levi's told to be Western American. What we did, Filipino talent, Filipino insight, Filipino language, and a very heartwarming commercial here. So really, we just kept people guessing there, and we made it still very relevant to the target audience. So just to quickly recap and wrap up what we've talked about today or tonight, we said insight is still king, whether we're in a pandemic or not. That's still a very important thing, as we've seen in the Consulta MD case study. Don't just get out of the box, use the box, leverage, you make use of what you have, as in the case of the Oroca and Cubeta Got Talent case study. Don't overthink it, and that's what RC said, basta, because chances are the audience doesn't do. And finally, keep them guessing, as in the case of Levi's, people thought we were gonna go this way, we went that way. So yeah, like I said, it's so crazy, it just might work. Come up with really mad results if you're not just crazy but really brave about it, and people will notice your brands and will talk about it, and the results will come 100-fold after you've launched a campaign. So if you need to reach us, these are our we're on Facebook. Just type in Giggle Group. We've got a website, giggle.com.ph. We've got a YouTube channel, Giggle TV. Or if you want to reach me, I'm on LinkedIn. So those are our contact details. Like and subscribe. Smash that like button. But yeah, if there's still time, Jen, we can take some questions. Just let me know. But this pretty much ends my my quick talk for you guys. Thank you. Jen, you're mute.
Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you guys earlier, thank you so much, Sir Jake, for that awesome insight. And that's great to know from a point of view of an ad agency. And there are just certain things that I wanted to share. And I think our audience would agree if I'll say that lockdown can stop us from thinking creatively. And though the videos that you showed was very creative, it was crazy, very relatable, and at the same time touching. I remember when I saw that Levi's commercial, I cried. I cried. It was so heartwarming. And even when I rewatch it right now, I feel like crying, but I'm trying to stop myself
Right,
because you're on a live.
It's okay to cry.
Yeah, and the RC Cola, it was all over TikTok. It was really crazy. It's an honor to meet the person behind that ad. Thank you for sharing your insight. And yes, our audience do have some question, and I think you're ready to answer them, Sir Jake.
Yeah. Which questions do you want us to answer?
Okay, so for the first, Okay, sorry about that. So for our first question, what is unique about Giggle's creative thinking and process that makes their ads and campaigns epic? So this is from our audience.
Yeah, well, thank you for calling them epic. But really, we're pretty very basic about the way we approach a challenge. So normally, when we get into a meeting with a client, they're briefing us about a new project. We ask two important things. One is we ask really what their goal is, and the goal can't be a general thing. It has to be a very specific business goal. Do they want to increase shares from this to that? Do they want to sell this number of units from this to that? Do they want to switch consumers from a competitive brand to us, and by how many percent? So number one, we're very specific about that. Number two, we also try to probe about what really is the barrier. What gets in the way? Why don't consumers, for instance, buy us and instead buy another brand? And we try to address that. So from those two questions, we try to do our research, we try to talk around, and we try to come up with a key insight that we'd leverage on and that we'd use for the rest of the campaign. So it's pretty it's a rigorous process, but also an interesting process, and it's worked for many of our campaigns. Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Jake. As much as I want to share the questions from our audience, it's just that we are running out of time. But I hope, guys, you were able to learn a lot. And thank you so much as well to our audience for sending their questions. And I hope Jake was able to answer them. Unfortunately, we can't entertain more questions because of time constraint. Now, that's it. Thank you once again, Jake. Thank you to our keynote speaker, Giggle's marketing partner, Mr. Jake Erastorza.
Thanks a lot, Jen. Thanks a lot, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Now, guys, please stay tuned for another meaty discussion in our fireside chat with our esteemed panelists. So let us now welcome our fireside chat moderator, CICP Vice President, Ms. Ace Gapuz. Hi, Ms. Ace.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. How are you? How are you, Jen?
I'm good, Miss. You look great. You look great. And
You look
I know
amazing.
you are thrilled.
Mm.
Thank you so much. And I know you are thrilled with I'm moderating the discussion tonight for our
Sure.
fireside chat. So I don't want to keep you further.
Yes, thank you, Jen.
So please take it away.
All right. Bye, Jen. See you in a bit. And good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Before we begin our fireside chat, I'd like to acknowledge everyone watching us, not just from the Philippines, but from all over the world. Thank you for joining us today. Now, let me introduce to you our panelists for this GMM. Please welcome Ben and Ben's Paulo Benjamin and Andrew Depano, TV and Live Director and Go Live Asia's co-founder, Nico Faustino, and Smart Communications Brand Equity Management AVP, Ed Martinez. Hello, everybody. Wow, you look amazing tonight. So, Paulo, Andrew, Nico, and Ed. Hi. Welcome to our fireside chat tonight. Thank you. It's nice seeing you. I see that Paulo and Andrew are in a... Where are you guys right now?
We are currently in our Ben and Ben house, where we have moved in together to do the work that we've been doing the past few months.
Amazing. Ben and Ben house. I see that Nico and Ed might be enjoying their time at home, yeah? Nico, Ed?
Yes.
Amazing.
Just at home. At home.
Yeah, the home life. But anyway, let's get into the questions from our audience and some of the questions that we've prepared. Now, we're talking about content creation in the new normal, and I'd like to solicit some insights from your and also on how you've adapted or changed your strategy when it comes to content creation during this time. And maybe we could go first on the brand side. Ed, is there something that you've done as a brand? Maybe something that you've changed to adapt in this new normal?
Yeah, I think definitely we really had to pivot. I think more so when the pandemic started, where the usual marketing of selling had to take a back seat, and we had to be much more sensitive to the needs of our subscribers, specifically making sure that everyone is well connected wherever they are, and with the unprecedented demand for mobile data, for mobile and fixed data, it was actually quite very very high. But I think it has changed also even now, especially now that it's 2021, and I think brands now need to take on, apart from delighting our subscribers and consumers. Jake touched on this earlier about making sure that you stand out, across. I mean, amidst the clutter. I think it's also important to relay a deep purpose for each brand. So I think, especially the youth today, it's very important to our consumers, and it's also very important for brands to be able to mirror that. So it's crucial that we go beyond just selling, but also to be able to communicate a deep purpose that your brand is aligned to.
Right. I love that word, purpose. How about for the creator side, maybe for Ben and Andrew? How have you adapted or changed your strategy when it comes to content creation? Maybe you're active in social media. I see that.
Yeah. Well, I think it was really tricky for us when it first started because our work relied so heavily on like live performances.
Live
So,
events, yeah.
yeah, when lockdown started, we were, of course, one of our like first initiatives was to start doing online shows from like from individually our own houses. But being 9 people, it became really time consuming, and it was like it felt a lot more difficult to connect to one another. And when we aren't able to connect to one another, it becomes harder for us to connect more to our audience. So eventually, we figured out that the best way that we could perform and continue our shows online was to move in together. And though we understand that not all musicians are able to like do that and move in together, it was such a big blessing that we were able to do so.
I love that. Thank you for that, Andrew. And speaking of challenges and rising above them, I wanted to ask direct Nico about this. What may be the challenges right now in terms of video production? I mean, everything is done virtually. What are the things that you've been experiencing in this new normal?
Well, for us, it's really different because from doing the events on ground, we had to adapt to doing it online. With Go Live Asia, what we did this before 2019, before the pandemic. So we were kind of ready. When the pandemic happened, we were very much ready for this. And then, well, I guess what we had to do when, in terms of especially the first months of the pandemic, we had to, we cannot go out, we cannot go to the studios, cannot do it on the set. So we had to do all the shows from home. I had one with Ben and Ben for a mid-year sale. I appreciate that they did get a studio for that event because it was really difficult for us to do it, especially for others who are doing it from home. Because again, before we had a crew set it up for you, we had cameras, we had lightmen, we had we had the set for you, and the celebrities just or the personality or the singer is just going to perform. Now they have to do it by themselves, and we have to guide them. Of course, it's kind of difficult for them, how do you set up lights? How do you set up this the prop? How do you set up the audio, the camera, and everything? So I guess that's the major adjustment for us. We had to be more patient in everything, even production side and talent side as well. So yeah,
I love it. It's all the P words so far. That's purpose, preparedness, and patience from Direct Nico. I love that. How about you, Ed, on the brand side? I mean, how have you adapted to all of these requirements in terms of shooting, video production? And we saw that you recently launched Korean endorsers. That is a challenging.
Yeah, we had a very exciting campaign, and we collaborated with Ben and Ben for the song of our Benjin material for Smart 5G. So that was actually very, very exciting for us and something very new also for us. I think definitely it has changed the ball game in the now normal like video production, and I think this is where I think trust really comes into play, because like for us, we do work with a lot of different advertising agencies, different partners, different events agencies, different artists, and I think trust really is the crucial factor, because you have to have a very good understanding of how each other works. a common understanding of the brand that you are working on and the shared goals that you have. Because
Right.
otherwise, if you don't have that trust, it becomes much more difficult to work. It becomes much more difficult to have to execute a great campaign or a great material like what we just did. So it's very difficult, and I think in terms of creative output, we have to. It's less flexible now because you also have to take into consideration IATF rules, and you have to be sensitive also unless you get bashed online. So you do have to be sensitive and cognizant of that. It's also quite more costly now with the COVID requirements of
You know,
testing,
right?
right? So
And
that comes into play, yeah, as well. And I think the most obvious change for us is when it comes to the offline and online editing. Before you would go into the studio, you'd meet the director face to face with your producers, and you get to give your comments and you get to see the work being done right in front of you. Now it's all online, so it's not that easy. We've it's worked for us in a way, but I guess nothing replaces face-to-face interaction, especially when it comes to video production.
It's
So
not going to
yeah.
be the same as before. It's more efficient when you're there, sitting together, editing that together, commenting as they edit. It's really a lot. It's a lot different right now.
Yeah, it's a lot different. So I guess I would imagine, things would be much more difficult for new partnerships, like between brands and agencies. If you're not very familiar with each other still, then that poses a challenge.
Yeah, I'd like to take that as a jump off point, and I'd like to ask Paulo about this. Paulo, how did you connect with your fans last year? I mean, the authenticity, of course, has to be there, but how did it change from being used to live events to now doing everything online? Ano nagbago?
I think more than anything, oh, before anything, I think some of our listeners are watching yung, we call
Oh,
them liwanag. So I think liwanag are watching right now. So we'd like to greet them. Sana okay lang kayo dyan. Um, Basically, I think it's, I mean, the world of content creation and social media, it's such a, it can, we can perceive it to be such a complex terrain wherein there are so many factors involved, but we try to keep things simple, I guess. Na basically, it's like a daily conversation with a friend. Uh, in the sense na even if it's the same friend that you talk to, you always have new things to talk about every day. And I think the daily conversation is what must be kept alive, especially now during these times wherein people actually have much less of an opportunity to do that with their friends. So, as a brand, or for us as a band, what we wanted to do is to be a friend. It's really that simple. And when you have a conversation with someone, uh, you show them like the latest stuff that you're up to, some memes, basically. uh, Basically like funny stuff, moving stuff. Uh, Kumbaga, yung mga bagay na na sa amin parang we find important at the moment or for the day. And you find that you never run out of things to talk about
right.
because as much as as much as our environment is so dynamic, even if seemingly everything's in a standstill because of the pandemic, there are always new things to make conversations with. And I think that's a jump off point as a band. Kasi parang it's not only of course our number one thing is definitely the music because we wouldn't be here without that, and our listeners wouldn't be there without that as well. Pero kumbaga, aside from the music, ano, we try to be a part of their lives as much as they're part of
Ay, ang
ours.
ganda.
In so many, kumbaga, yung mga mababaw and yung mga malalim na mga areas. Kumbaga, it's ano eh. And because conversations, I think, they turn into relationships eh. Kumbaga,
I
if you
love
think
it.
about how relationships are, they're just a summary of daily conversations. And I think that's how we kind of built the relationship between Liwanag and Ben. It's a daily conversation of
I
the
love
things that matter to
that.
us and the things that matter to them. So
Oh, it's such a quotable quote, no? Conversations turn into relationships because it's true. And I think many of our creators right now, the influencers watching us, they believe this also. And I think they share this sentiment also that you really get to develop the relationship with your followers, with your subscribers, because of the conversations that you have with them. Now, this is one question that we have from the audience. This is also for Ben and Ben. How is your creative process like? Maybe Paolo and Andrew can share their insights on that. How is the
it's
creative
also a conversation, actually. Like, but siguro for us lang, kumbaga, we found it, yun nga, like Andrew said, much more difficult to do that apart. So we made the difficult conversation that one night of July last year. Na it started out as a joke actually, and then it became a reality na parang mag-move in na lang tayo. Kumbaga, pero it didn't come without its challenges, of course. Kasi para kaming, ano yun, para ka nagmo-move in with your... Pero basically,
life decision, ano?
ano, yeah, it's a big life decision. That's for sure. Pero, uh, our creative process, I think it starts with, ano, with a mission, I think. More than anything else. Because, yun nga our mission or purpose is really, yun nga to sing about the things that we experience and our listeners experience, and to be just as real as possible with it, because then we find that we have more things in common than we think. So kumbaga it starts with that, and then kumbaga that mission, and then kumbaga being aware of that, then the ideas come out, and we well, realistically we overthink it sometimes, but
It's part of the process.
we find yeah, but we find that the beautiful ideas, musical ideas, songs, they come out when we don't think about it too much. And then yun, kumbaga it starts as that seed and then that seed, it blooms when we talk about it musically. So kumbaga basically we jam it, and then we talk about the song over a meal. Kumbaga, yeah. And then kumbaga we just let it flow, basically.
I
And
love
of course,
it. Yes.
pressure does play a big role in moving things forward. But we try our best to not succumb to it in a way
Right.
na na kumbaga it clouds us from our mission, or like our purpose, because kumbaga that has to be clear pa rin, and that has to be above everything else.
Right.
So
But healthy pressure is always helpful, you know. Maybe I could
it is.
again ask direct Nico this question naman from our audience also. Production right now is a little more challenging, a little difficult. How do you orchestrate people to make productions more efficient? And how have you made content ideas come to life this
Well,
time?
yeah, for production, it's really difficult because one, let's say if we're doing a show, usually we have, let's say, 100 people. Now it's down to 40 or maybe 50. It's just half because we have limits to how many people. So when we do a show, this is how we do it. We segregate them into the ingress people, which is technical people. And then once we do the show, the production comes in, and then while we're doing the production, just few people, key people, are left behind with me. while doing the show. This is doing it on stage, on ground, right? And then yeah, I mean, I guess I miss the people around. I mean, it's really nice to still do it. How we do it before, I'll always try. Like if my client would want to do or if the producers who want to do a show, I always tell them, hey, let's do it in a studio. Hey, let's do it. Let's try to to see each other and still create this atmosphere where it was how it was before. But then the audience won't be able to be there, and I guess that's a different thing. But at least we get to create it how we want it to be, not like we're stuck at home. We were so limited. I mean, I've done a couple of shows, TV shows, wherein we've done it all from home, and it's just it's different. It's different when you see each other. It's different, the flow, the creativity, everything is just different. And yeah, I guess that's how.
Now I have my last question for everybody because time is running out, but I want you all to really have your insights here. Now that we're here in this new normal, how would you define a successful content, a successful campaign, a successful event? What does success mean to you in terms of the things that you do in this new normal? And Ed, are you ready to maybe share with us your answer?
Yeah, I think from the brand perspective, definitely business results take precedence. But I guess more than that, like I mentioned earlier, it's all about delighting your customers also, especially how everyone is so down now, and they there's this sort of escapism that people look forward to. So I guess just to add from the business results, definitely engagement would be the number one KPI that we look at. So if you look at our recent campaigns with Jin Ben and Sonia Jin, and of course with Ben and Ben, that the engagement has been off the charts. So that tells us that the content is resonating with our subscribers. It's something that they delight in also. And so that's great for the brand. And like what Jake mentioned earlier, there is a lot of clutter right now. And that's always been the case, for the longest time. That's always been the challenge. So engagement is a very, very good KPI to look at, apart from, of course, impact on the business.
Yeah. How about you, Direct Nico?
Yeah. Well.
Success.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. When we talk about success, how would you define a successful campaign, a successful content in this new normal?
Okay. Well, for this new normal, I guess something successful is something that would entertain a lot of people now, especially a lot of people are very down. There's a lot of problems going on. And I guess what we need is really, of course, entertainment to, to keep everyone going, to be hopeful for something, to give hope. And, that's how I see it.
Kanina meron tayong P words. Now we have E words. Engage, entertain. Oh, no pressure, Paolo and Andrew. How would you define success or successful content, a successful campaign in this new normal?
Well, metrics are always wonderful, but like in these times specifically, I'd like to say that we really believe that success is really measured in how much we are able to bring value to the lives of other people through the work we do. So in all the songs that we've released throughout the pandemic, like Di Ka Sayang was about making sure people remembered that they are always accepted regardless of whatever faults they might have or whatever other people might say. Susunod na Habang Buhay was about having hope in missed opportunities. And our latest song, Inevitable, which we did with Smart, was like a song about learning to let go and just letting moments happen in the day by day. So it's these messages of hope and making sure that even though the pandemic has put a lot of things on pause, life still goes on. Your story still goes on, and that there are still so many things left in life for us to savor and cherish. And for us, success is making people feel those things in these times.
Amazing. Well, yes, yes, Paulo. How about you?
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah,
De,
what does mean the industry?
actually, medyo, mema lang yung sabihin ko, which is, meron din kaming impact.
Yes.
Tsaka so I think, what I could add from what Andrew said is more of like the, kasi the question is, how do I know if I'm adding value? So, kumbaga, I think, try to pay attention to not just the numbers, but also what your, let's say, if you're a brand, your customers, if you're an influencer, your audience, what they're saying then. And you see that to the messages, to the comments, kumbaga, also pay attention to, to how they respond in terms of, kumbaga, you made my day, you saved my life, you helped me move on from a breakup, kumbaga, you made my loved ones happy, you made my friends, you brought me closer to my family, kumbaga, pay attention to that because somehow, it is, kumbaga, kami, even if we've gone through a very interesting journey, somehow we still pay attention to that the most. Kasi that's how we know na no matter how small or big our audience is, that's how deep we reach them. Because I think that depth, now, especially in the pandemic, is much more important. Kasi, we have to intentionally be there for the people now more than ever. So,
ang ganda nung impact. Anyway,
Impact.
all our insights. Now, marami tayong e-words na tutuhan right now from our panelists. Of course, success means engagement, entertainment, empowerment, and impact. Sabi nga nila. And thank you so much to Paulo, to Andrew, thank you to Ed, and thank you to Nico. Thank you for sharing your insights with us. Thank you for your time, of course.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being present today. Maraming salamat. Good night, everybody. Thank you to our panelists. Back to you, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ace, Paolo, Andrew, Nico, and Ed, for sharing with us your wonderful insights on content creation in the now normal. And if there's one thing that I can't forget out from that fireside chat, it would be relationships are built through daily conversation. And it's really true. As a content creator myself, it's really important that you connect with your audience. And if you agree, guys, please let me know in the comment section below. And now, moving on, I am sure you guys are curious about what CICP has in store for us for the rest of the year. So let us now welcome CICP President Jim Guzman and CICP Executive Director Jaco De Leon to find out what's in store for CICP this 2021.
All right. Thank you so much, Jen. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jaco De Leon, Executive Director of the CICP, and with me is our President, Jim Guzman.
Hi guys,
Jim,
good evening.
Musta ka?
Good evening. Kumusta, Jax? All good.
Oh,
all
okay
good.
to. I'm very pumped. I'm very excited because we do have a lot of plans. 2020 came in and we obviously were blindsided by the situation and the unfortunate situation, but we were able to kind of piece together a lot of different things, as you could see, for you guys. And given everything that has happened, we did the best that we could do. But this 2021, ang dami namin plano. And I think we've learned a lot from last year. So I'm very excited to share. Well, we're very excited to share it with you.
Super excited.
Tonight.
You have no idea. I mean, the past few weeks, we've been planning this and looking at what we've done in 2020. There's no reason for us not to, really make more and do more this 2021. So with that, I'll start with, of course, I'll start with the plans for this year. Similar to 2020, we will still have a lot of GMM meetings for 2021. So I think this one, Jaco, is something they have to look forward to because
Correct.
we have really invited a lot of speakers and panelists to join us and
Yeah.
interesting topics that interest not just our creators and influencers, but even brands and agencies. Right, Jaco?
That's right, Jim. And I think the general members meeting is such an important part of our core. And normally for other GMMs, it happens in private, like just between
Yes.
members. But because we've been opening it up to the public on our Facebook page, we've been bringing in some of the best and brightest speakers to share their experiences and whatnot. So look
Yes.
forward to the GMMs. We're gonna make it bigger and better this year.
So yan, GMM pa lang. The other one that we have lined up for this year is the town hall meeting, which we plan to do every quarter. So this is an intimate gathering among our members, of course, with the council, so that we can talk more about industry issues and how we can all better this industry together as one team, as one industry.
Correct.
So something definitely to look forward to as well, right, Jax?
And I guess other than that, we also have our official podcast. We planned a lot last year. Before the pandemic, we wanted to produce a lot of content. Being content creators, for the most part, we wanted to give you guys a lot of content.
Finally.
And we weren't able to do that. And finally now we're gonna start with a podcast. It's the start of us creating creator brand agency centric content so that you guys can learn even better.
Yep, the lineup of topics and guests for our podcast. Grabe, ibang klase. When I saw it, I was like, wow. So definitely something to look forward to, everyone. Next is, ito very interesting. It's really a momentous year for us because this year we are the official partner of the Asia Pacific Tambuli Awards, which is going to happen in June. So to some of you who don't know, Tambuli Awards, it's actually a reputable award-giving body that really recognizes work that that has really good business results and at the same time has done good, those which have value and meaning and purpose. So definitely something to look forward to. In fact, go to their website right now. I think they've already opened the submission for entries. So something to look forward to in 2021.
Yeah, and that's only one of the many partnerships that we have planned to make this industry even better. And we wanted to collaborate with some of the biggest things, and you could already see it in the screen what's going to happen next. But before that, we have a voter education program. As you know, the 2022 elections are coming up, and we play a very vital role in the communications of pretty much everything. Social media has grown over the past couple of years, and it has been an integral part of the way our country is shaped. And I think this kind of program and being spearheaded by CICP is very wonderful to have.
Yes, because as we always say, diba, we want to use our influence really for doing good things, and this is one of them, right, Chaco? Another great one of the things lined up for this is also our partnership with the University of Asia in the Pacific and the Meridian International Business Arts and Technology College. So for the very first time, we are collaborating with a college and a university to really put influencer marketing and content creation in their syllabus. And then we're excited to put in a lot of our industry speakers, of course, creators and influencers themselves who will be teaching our students both in UANP and Mint.
Yeah, so watch out for that because you never know who's going to be teaching you. Obviously, I believe in having the best and the brightest kind of educate to be able to create even more leaders and even bigger and brighter people, diba? So so look forward to that. This one, Jim,
this one is also exciting. Finally, we'll be launching our CICP legal committee. So this will be launched in our first town hall meeting in March. But the idea is we know that there are a lot of legal issues, concerns that as an industry we need to talk about. And the idea is to have a go-to team in behalf of CICP for conversations or matters related to this. So something to look forward to. As you know, two of our directors in the council are lawyers themselves. So yes, definitely value adding for our members and for the industry.
And for a lot of people, we're a very young industry and there's still a lot to learn. And this is just the start of professionalizing and making our, giving us a best in class kind of industry, diba? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But one of the things that I'm very much looking forward to, of course, is BICON Infest 2021.
Yes.
We've been doing it for the past couple of years. Even
Mhm.
before we formed the CICP, we were able to put together one of the biggest events in the country. And with BICON, at least 2019. And then 2020, we had all these plans nga, but obviously we had to adjust, but still we were able to pull off. You could see naman in the poster. I think it's just to flex then. It's just to be able to flex then that we were able to put together literally one of the biggest digital events naman for 2020.
Every year it just gets bigger and bigger, Jaco.
Yeah,
who
and
thought that
yeah,
we can create that, that big event last year virtually.
correct.
So wait for
And kaya this year talaga, BICON Infest 2021, look forward to that. We want to make it bigger. We want to make it better. We want to make it even more eventful than the year prior. So watch out for that one.
Yes, and of course,
Yani?
well, for the whole year, I will be doing and continuing, no, hashtag Creators United PH. So hindi pa tapos ang
Correct.
laban. I think a lot of our fellow countrymen still need help, and again, aligned with using our influence to do good. Expect more of activities under this campaign that you can also be part of, right,
Yeah,
Jaco?
and it's a very important part of our council is really to be able to use our influence to reach out and help other people and people in need, not just using the platform per se, but also to physically be able to reach out and help out, yeah, as I said.
Yes, and
So
last but not
yeah,
the least, may isa pa.
yeah. Well,
Pero we're
last
not
but not
allowed.
the least, and to the no, actually, you know what? Let's give them a taste na rin. This
Okay,
is
sige.
probably something that we're planning towards the end of the year or somewhere thereabouts. We want to make a creator roadshow, and the creator roadshow is really to feature the best and the brightest in our industry to the best and the brightest of the industry, which is the brands and agencies
Mhm.
out there. We want to be able to create that synergy so that
Yeah.
people can form better partnerships,
Mhm.
opportunities, and to be able to introduce the different sectors in our community to each other, and
Mhm.
not and I guess to everyone else.
And
So
that's
yeah, so
that's what we
I'm yeah,
promised, diba? That's what
correct.
we promised to our members, and to this industry, that CICP will be your connection
Yeah,
to brands and agencies, to creators and content creators,
platforms.
platforms, and
Yeah,
then so actually, diba, our plan pa talaga is for this roadshow to be preempted by a workshop
yeah.
where there are actually opportunities for creators, big and small, to really up their skill and learn new things that will improve their content creation
That's
process.
right. That's right, Jim. And the
Exciting.
the and it's one of the more exciting things that we have planned. It's gonna be a really big thing. So that's another thing to look forward to, other than the 9 other things that we've already kind of showcased tonight. And it
Mhm.
doesn't end there. We do have a lot of plans for you guys. So we hope you stick around, and we hope you even invite other people to be a part of the CICP. Spread the word out there. We're here to really build a best in class industry. So
Yep.
yeah, I think that's it. We have more, but as a future GMMs na lang. So we hope you guys check that out as well.
Yes. Thank you. So this is Jim Guzman, of course, and the one and only Mr. Jaco De Leon.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, guys. And yeah, and I
Thank
guess
you.
with that, back to you, Jen.
Back to you, Jen.
Thank you for that, Jaco and Jim. And I'm indeed looking forward to all of that. And I hope everyone here is excited too. And there you have it, everyone. This month's general membership meeting of the Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines. And we really hope that you've learned a thing or two from our discussion tonight. And thank you for our keynote speaker, Gigel's managing partner, Jake Erastorza, to our fireside chat moderator, CICP Vice President Ace Gapus, to our fireside chat panelists, Ben and Ben's Paolo Benjamin and Andrew Dipano, TV and Live Director and Go Live Asia's co-founder, Nico Faustino, and Smart Communications Brand Equity Management, AVP Ed Martinez. And last but not the least, to everyone who is watching right now from all over the world, Thank you guys for tuning in. And please, if you are not yet a member of the Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines, and you definitely would not want to miss opportunities like this, then please join us and be a member. Visit triple.cicp.com.ph to register. And this has been your host for tonight, guys. This is Jen Barangan, and we'll see you again next month. Bye!